There once was a king named Ahab. I'm Rick. This is the top of the world, floor 148 in the Burj Khalifa here in Dubai. Let me tell you the story about Ahab. Ahab was a bad king. He made many bad choices. Elijah was the prophet in that time, and he would tell him, don't do this, don't do that, but he would still do this and he would still do that. So finally Elijah said, it's not going to rain for 3 years. And it didn't rain for 3 years, so it was a very, very bad time for the whole country. But one bad king can make a bad time for many, many people. But Ahab didn't change. Then Ahab won some wars, but he didn't win these wars because he was better than or good. He won them because the other king blasphemed God, and so God gave him victory. Many years pass, and Ahab keeps making mistakes. Finally, Elijah had enough. He said, let's just have a little contest. He got this altar, put water during the time of famine and of time of no water. He pours this water all over this altar, and God sends down fire and burns it up, and they get rid of the prophets of Baal. What does this do? It ticks off Jezebel, Ahab's wife, and then they put out basically a death warrant on Elijah. So he has to run for his life. He's a bad dude. And then during this time, after that, he actually kills his neighbor to take his vineyard, has him murdered. And Elijah comes to him and says, you know what, you're done. Your life is over, it's forfeit. You've done too much evil, too many times, and you yet not only kill your neighbor, you would take possession of his property and his inheritance. And Ahab says, I'm wrong. I'm a bad dude, and I am sorry. So he tears his clothes, he puts on sackcloth and ashes, and he humbles himself. This dude who was totally evil for many, many years, he would let people die in his country. He would, steal and murder. But he decided to humble himself because Elijah said, your life is done. And what happens is God hears his prayer and says, you know what? I'm going to give you more time. So Ahab goes about his life. 3 more years he lives, and he's completely fine. God has relented from taking him out. And then he's risen up in pride again, and he goes to war with another nation, and he's asking of the Lord, should I go to this war? And the prophet comes and says, you know what? You're going to be prideful again. So here's the deal. I'm going to lie to you. And the lie is, go to war, you're going to have success. And he goes, you're lying. He goes, of course I'm lying. Because God wants you to be done. You're over. He says, if you go to this war, you will die. You know what he does? He still goes to the war, but this time he says, I'll trick him. So he puts on commoner clothes, doesn't go in the chariot, lets another king go in the chariot, and he just hides. But guess what happens? A random arrow comes, shoots between his armor, and he dies the exact same way that Elijah said he would die, with dogs licking up his blood 3 years later. So what's my point in telling this story? In the top of the world, with all this glamour and money and fame and everything around here, there's a time when people can be evil and they can turn good and they can humble themselves, save their life, save the life of people around them, and then they can get prideful again and lose it all. And I'm telling you, I've seen it in my personal life with other people. I've watched lives go. I'm not a young man anymore. I've seen lives. And they can even be good for many, many years, get prideful for a few, and destroy their life. Or they can be bad and then turn good. And you're like, wow, never saw that coming. That's amazing. And then go back to being bad. Or they can stay good. But here's my point. Each day is a choice. Each moment. You can be the most awesomest, fruitful person in your 20s and horrible in your 30s. You can be great till 50 and horrible for 5 years. You can do something bad even though you've been good. And you can do something good even though you've been bad. So here's the point. You have to stay humble. Right now, I'm on one knee on the Burj Khalifa. I'm not saying it's a position of prayer, but it is a humbling position to be in your life. If you're willing to stay on your knees, if you're willing to say, no matter what, no matter how high, no matter how great, no matter if I get to the pinnacle of life, I still want to remember that I'm still a person who puts on his clothes just like everybody else, and I should love and be nice to everybody else just the same. Remember, pride is the killer. Pride is what destroys everyone's life. rich or poor, weak or powerful. So today, if you can check yourself, become more self-aware, that's the moment you find truth. When you find truth, do not reject it and live not the lie. Do not believe the lie and believe that you have authority because you're under authority. Never think you're the best. Don't ever think you're the best, the bomb, and no, everybody else needs to kowtow to you. They don't, and you don't deserve half the good things you've got in your life as well as I don't. But we get them nonetheless, and what we do with them is what's important. So give more than you take, and always love, and lean in to doing good, and don't have a period of time where you go bad, because it will turn out poorly. God bless you. Remember, Jesus talks, and he has all the answers.